up, everybody? Man-child Kenny Smith here on this afternoon here at Willow Oak Farm and Vineyard. I got some stuff to do this afternoon, so I'm going to start dinner early in the crock pot. You see it behind me. This is a great pork chop recipe. So, I'll show you how to make it. But first, we're going to season our pork chops with fresh ground pepper, salt, and a dash of brown sugar. So, dash of brown sugar. Alright, now we're going to do fresh ground pepper and salt. Both sides. And then, while that's going, we're going to heat this pan up. Alright, tablespoon of butter in. We're going to sear the chops on both sides because, like Gordon Ramsay says, no color, no flavor. Alright, got it hot. Put that on our pork. About 3 to 4 minutes per side. Now I use bone-in pork chops to retain moisture, but you can use boneless. I just prefer to have a really moist cut of meat. But it's not going to dry out in the slow cooker. Alright. I removed both of my pork chops from the skillet and I put it in my slow cooker. Now, before we get that going, we're going to take another tablespoon of butter. Let it cool down a hair. We're going to take one freshly chopped onion, butter in. We're going to add the onion, deglaze the pan. Alright, now I'm going to add thyme, 1 teaspoon. I'm going to add a cup of vegetable stock. Got to add a 1/4 cup of apple cider, fresh squeezed. Now we're going to add 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire. Once that's in, we're going to mix it up. And we're going to just let it cook down a little bit so it's well mixed. Alright, now we're going to put it in my my crock pot over the chops. Like so. Alright, so we put everything in. Now to set it. You can do high for 2 to 3 hours or you can do low for 4 to 5. I'm going to do low from 4 to 5. So I'm going to hit slow cook. I'm going to adjust my temperature to low and I'm going to set it for 4 hours. And start. Alright, so I got my slow cooker set for 4 hours and I'll be back to show you how I finish it off. Now I am going to serve it with a side of sauteed asparagus and some potatoes and I'll show you how to cook those. So, stick with me and you'll be cooking with Kenny too. Alright, so the crock pot just dinged. So we'll deal with that in a minute. But first, I started doing the roasted potatoes. And what I did was I cut them into quarters and I boiled them for 8 minutes. But they're not done. They got another 40 minutes to go. And let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the potatoes and put them in my bowl. I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil and sprinkle them on. Alright. I'm going to take turmeric and fresh red pepper and I'm going to put a tablespoon each on there to give them a little spice. You know, the turmeric's going to turn them golden brown. All right, then I'm going to mix them up. Going to put them on a cookie sheet. And I'm going to roast them at 390 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes. All right, now the pork chops have dinged, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the pork chops out, and then we're going to add some cornstarch to the broth to make a gravy. And I'll show you how I do it. All right, well, thicken up the gravy. I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I'm going to mix it with a tablespoon of water. I actually ended up using 2 tablespoons of water because the tablespoon looked a little thick. Alright, I got it mixed up. I'm going to add it to the broth and I'm going to stir it up. Now you return the pork chops to the crock pot and let it cook for another 30 to 60 minutes. I will take them out when the potatoes come out, which will be in 31 minutes. Alright, I got my crock pot set for 30 minutes and I'll be back in probably 20. I'm going to saute some asparagus as my green and we'll have a whole meal. I'll show you how it's done. Hope you folks are having a good night and stick with me. We're back. So, the crock pot's almost done. The potatoes just finished and they're in the oven. Going to keep warm. We're going to saute the asparagus real quick, put it together, and we'll have a meal. So, to do the asparagus, we're going to take a small skillet, a little bit of olive oil, and to tie it all together, we're going to tie it together with a little crushed red pepper flakes and some soy sauce. So let's tie it all together and let's have a meal. Pan's on the stove, it's going to preheat. I've already sliced my asparagus, cut the bottoms off, everything's cut at an angle. So we're going there. Wait for it to preheat, we're going to put a dab of olive oil in. Alright, the pan's gotten hot. A little bit of olive oil in. Mix it around, I'm going to wait for it to smoke and get nice and hot. Alright, got hot, and I added my asparagus. Now, bringing it all together. I'm going to put a dash of red pepper flakes on there, and we're going to use soy sauce. Now what I'm doing is I'm using the asparagus to bring everything together. I got the red pepper flakes on the roasted potatoes, and I got the soy sauce and the gravy of the pork chops. So while that's sauteing, we're going to start plating. So when everything comes out, the meal is perfectly hot. Potatoes out. Now we're going to take our pork chop out. There we have it. Nice American pork, greens, potatoes recipe. Great for a cold winter's night like tonight. Folks, hope you're all doing well. Thanks for sticking with me through this long episode. Hey, if you need the recipe, let me know. I'll be glad to write them all down for you. Hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you soon.